Girl, slay the house down boots, mama.
Now that was a bad choice.
Right. No. Don't try to change the subject. Spill the tea.
Okay, but what was she expecting?
Well, that bitch is crazy.
Honestly, pop off. We should have talked first.
Can you blame
She
her?
should probably drink a little less. Literally. Well, let's get into it then. It's time to spill the tea with Damon B.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Spill the Tea with David B and Gigi.
Hi.
Woo
Hi,
woo.
everyone.
Today we're going to be talking about weddings.
Oh, weddings and funerals. No, just
Well,
weddings.
Well, we can do weddings and funerals.
Oh, okay. Let's do
Yeah.
both. I just actually wrote out a thing that I'm gonna send to maybe to all of you guys
Okay.
about what I would like if I die.
Okay, first of all, I already had ideas in my mind. I already have
Right.
your eulogy written out. So,
Right.
okay, for clarification, in one of my university classes called Presentations and Persuasions, we had to write a script pretty much, and he gave examples, and a eulogy was one of them. So I made a eulogy for Graham over here, which was very fun and still
Mm-hmm.
very like sentimental, and I
Yes, it was
cried,
lovely. It was beautiful. Really, it was.
but it
Uh,
referenced a lot of things that we both love, like Chinese food, Austin Powers. Like, it was
right.
just a great combination. So I don't care what your wishes are. I'm still gonna read
Well,
that.
I'll definitely. Well, I kind of given you guys some leeway to do whatever you'd like. I
Oh, great.
just have put in some instructions regarding um, burial versus a
Oh,
cremation
okay.
versus where to go. Because interestingly, I lost my husband when I was 24, and at the time, I don't. It's a very devastating loss. Um, and I actually got a plot next to him in a
Oh, wow.
graveyard. Yeah. But now I've moved away and
Mhm.
I'm remarried. So there's some some questions about that, like what to
Yeah.
do. Now, my husband now wants to be cremated and I don't. We're very separate on that. I just feel like I want to go back to the ground. I would even prefer to be, I think I've told you this before. I would like it if they dig a hole like in the middle of a farmer's field and put me in it. Just like it would be so
Okay.
nice to know that I'm like it's such a waste to be put in a cemetery.
Well, I think the whole point of cemetery is for loved ones to know exactly where you are and to come and visit you and know
Right.
which one's yours.
Right. And
Right.
it's also it it is. And it's
Yeah.
also for purposes like you just don't want people burying people willy-nilly because there
Mm.
can be issues with
Oh,
water
that's true.
and things like that. Um, but I feel like,
You want in a farmer's
yeah,
field where
yeah,
crops grow.
exactly. Well, I feel like like I wish I was somewhere where then like I would grow something. Like I wouldn't like I just feel like
Mm.
what am I doing in the cemetery? It's just like they're cutting the grass over top of me. Like nothing's I don't know. I'd like to feed a cow or something.
I
See
see.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, but I what I did say is that I don't want an open casket.
Oh God, no! I'd close that thing on you.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't have that because number one, the makeup artists are horrible. Like only if I could do my own makeup would I allow that. And or if you got like
Your wigs.
if you got wigs and then you got one of those like the what do you call them? The transgender not transgender like the ladies that dress up
A
men
drag
dress up
queen.
as
Drag queen.
yes, who came in and did my makeup. I would allow that. I would allow that and then have an open casket, but otherwise, absolutely not, except for you guys. So you can look in
Yeah.
and go, "Yep, she's dead," and then you close it up. I don't even want a funeral though. That's the other thing. I find
Okay.
that's so let's talk about weddings and funerals. Let me hear your
Okay.
views on that, because I have issues with the money aspect.
Oh, okay. So my
Yeah.
thought process, I'm so excited. So my thought process
This
is
is not gonna go with my thrifty thought
no,
process, is it?
no, 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 no. No, 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 no. So I said, I see the amount of money people spend on weddings for reception, venue, and everything.
Oh,
And I'm like,
crazy.
fuck that. If I'm
Yeah.
getting married and spending that kind of money, it's gonna be in the Caribbean. We're gonna have a
Yeah.
resort. I'm booking out a pirate ship. I want my wedding to be pirate themed. I want to go on a pirate ship. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding. So
Oh
I
my
want
god.
to go out on a pirate ship. I want to fire a cannon, like when we get married.
Are you gonna walk the
Realistically,
plank?
yeah, when after like depending if there's sharks or not. If there's dolphins, yes. If there's sharks, maybe
Are you gonna
not.
swim with the dolphins? Like, walk the plank, swim with the dolphins? That would be
Swim
really nice.
Yeah, right? So
Yeah,
I
I might have
really
to do that
wanna
with yeah.
get married on a pirate ship. I would love to have Johnny Depp, because he's Captain Jack Sparrow. I
Aw.
would love him
You
there,
could probably get a look-alike. I
right? That's
bet
what
you
I'm
yeah,
thinking.
you could hire, like, someone who looks like him when
I want
or dresses up
barrels
like him.
barrels and barrels of Captain Morgan rum. Like,
I want that.
I want right? And I just
Maybe
wanna book
maybe grandma
yeah.
will foot the bar.
I want to book the pirate ship for maybe like 4 hours, go on a little cruise kind of thing, come back, like do all these fun things on the pirate
Yeah.
ship. Because when can you say, I want people to be like, oh my God, I just went to the best wedding. I went on a pirate ship. I was in the Caribbean. Like I lived the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. And then we went
Mhm.
back to the resort for a week or whatever. And then everyone just had their own good time. I'd rather
Yeah,
do that.
that would be fun, and I think people are starting to do more, like, we're going to a destination wedding, in,
Oh,
Mexico
oh
in
yeah,
April.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
why I was trying on bathing suits. That's why I look like Buddha, even though I've been exercising for 4 months. I don't even know what to do. Um, but anyway, yeah, that would be not like we're going to that, but I find that people spend inordinate amounts of money on
Yeah.
rings. I think that's insane.
Yeah.
Unless you're an absolutely rich person, I don't understand that. And you can buy like a cubic zirconia that looks like a diamond and nobody knows the difference. And
So
they cost $100.
my thoughts on rings
Hmm.
are okay, now I've seen people get their finger torn off because of their ring. It got stuck on
Yeah.
something and their fingers has come off. So I think there are I forget this company. I've seen it on like Dragon's Shark Tank. Oh my God, I thought it was such a cool idea. It looks very nice, but if it's caught on something, it'll just tear off.
Oh,
Like
snap off. Yeah.
it'll snap off. And then it doesn't cost maybe it's like $100 or something
Right.
because it's pretty and nice or whatever. But then you can just get another one. So I'm thinking
Yeah.
that's what I
I'm
would want to do.
like, unless you have like tons and tons of money, I can't like these girls and they want like you see the diamonds are like, $10,000, 20,
Oh, no,
in
no.
my
Oh,
my
God.
like in my range of money, you
Yeah.
know, it's not like they're rich and they want these thousands of dollars in rings, like an $8,000 or $10,000 ring. You could actually use that for a down payment on a house or a car or
Okay. On top of that,
yeah.
the wedding dress,
Oh my god.
$15,000 for a
Yeah,
wedding dress
come
you're gonna wear
on.
once?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, they know
No.
weddings and funerals, those people know how to make the money.
Oh. Oh,
I'm
that's a
telling you.
well,
Yeah.
Kevin O'Leary, he does weddings. That's how he made his millions or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
yeah.
doubt. Mhm.
Mhm.
And if you're not rich, I don't understand having an 80 to $100,000 wedding. Like I can't even understand. I would not. Neither of my children, and they're both girls. So tradition is the parents of the bride pay
Mhm.
for the wedding, and that ain't ever happening. Like I will do it all myself before I would ever allow that to happen. And I say to them, why not take that money, go on a nice honeymoon
Yeah.
after, and just have a nice gathering and a party. Everybody wants the party. That's all they want, really. They don't need all the
Exactly.
dresses. I got my wedding dress, honest to God, and it still goes on. They have these like last year's designs and stuff. They travel around the country and they pop up. They're like a pop-up shop for wedding dresses,
Mhm.
and you can get like, and they're so much money off. Like I got mine for $230. It was regular like $4,000. Just
Okay, but again,
230
grandma,
bucks.
back in 1950, that was a lot of money. I'm just
Yeah, back in 1950. It was not 1950. It was 1993 or 2 or
Oh,
something.
I'm sorry, I'm a
Yeah.
few
Yeah.
decades off.
Yeah, and my second wedding, I didn't and I think that's crazy too. Anybody who's into a second wedding, who had a big first wedding, like, it just looks ridiculous, I think. I think a person who's, 40 and has 2 kids going and getting the big poofy dress and doing the 9 yards. I don't see the point of it. I don't. Take your money and go on a nice vacation with your family. Take them,
So
like, go to Disney World.
no, fuck Disney World, because let me tell you something. That place is too expensive.
It
Go
is
somewhere else.
very expensive.
Also, no one can steal my pirate ship idea. That is trademarked.
All right.
It's going through
Okay.
the patent office right now.
Right, and
So,
when you have your first big wedding,
yeah,
then and but do it so
my
that people
first.
can afford to go too. Like,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the other thing with these destination weddings, people don't realize, like, that's a lot of money for someone else to put out to get
Yes.
there. So, you have to to me, you have to figure out how to get, like, discounts on rooms, discounts on flights, so that people can afford to do that.
So, in my first year of university, my one of my other grandmas, they paid. So my uncle's friends were getting married, and they invited
Mhm.
me to the wedding. I didn't really know them. I met them once or twice, but I think the reason they invited me is the more people that you can get to go, the better rate that you get.
Right, you get on the room,
Yeah.
yeah. Right.
So my grandma said she would pay for my ticket and stuff, which I think the all inclusive. It was all inclusive resort. I think you know, I think it was about like 1,000 something dollars maybe.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I was thinking maybe when I get married, I'd give people the option. So if you want to come, great. If not, we'll have a small reception here, like book, a town
Yeah,
hall, not or
yeah,
one of those
yeah.
Rotary Club
Mhm.
things. And then the people who want to go, it's
Yeah,
the all
and
inclusive
it's
resort.
nice, like, the one we're going to right now, they're having it in April. So
Hmm.
that makes it nice where, um, that's, like a vacation for us. So we're going for a week. When
Yeah,
we're going to the wedding one night or day, whatever it is, but the rest of the time is going to be our vacation. So that's kind of nice that they set it up that way, and we're not
yeah,
going
that's what
for
I
2
want.
days and then
Yeah.
leaving. I don't want to be with the wedding party the whole time because I think that's weird.
Hmm.
Like, I think the bride and groom should just go and be together. And I don't think we will be. I think they're in a different part or something. So I think it'll be fun. I think that's okay. As long as you make it affordable for people.
Yeah,
You got to just keep in mind. Or okay, well, you know what? This person can't come. You can't get upset if somebody can't
yeah.
afford it. That's
Well,
the
that's
thing.
why I would want to do something smaller. So when people who do want to support and be there, they can, and then the people, because I'm assuming it's also going to be like $1,000, $1,200,
Mhm.
like for my wedding, for a per person. So someone
Mhm.
can't afford that. I'm not expecting people to get me a gift. I would love people to come.
Yeah, and I feel
Yeah,
like that is the gift.
that is the gift for
If
the
if
person to
you're
come.
having that, especially if you're not, I understand there are people out there who can afford, to pay for everybody's rooms and do that. And
Yeah.
okay, in that scenario, that's like a higher pay bracket or tax bracket that we're talking about. We're down here in this tax bracket, right? And like, live within your means, live within your family's means. If they're not rich and paying for the whole thing, then you have to
Hmm.
be, you have to be
Yeah.
understanding if someone says, "Yeah, I can go, but I can't really bring you a real big gift," or
Which I
whatever.
I wouldn't be expecting the people to
Yeah,
give me a gift at all if they're coming to my destination wedding.
right.
Like,
Like,
if
that's
they're
the
yeah,
gift.
that's
Yeah.
the gift because
Mhm.
it's cheaper, it'll be cheaper for us to throw a wedding over there because you're helping pay. It's a cheaper rate for us if
Mhm.
more
Mhm.
people come, right?
Right.
So it's like that's kind of the gift. I wouldn't expect people to get me a gift. Plus, I just want everyone to have a good time. It's a celebration. That's why I want if people spend so much money on weddings, I'd love my wedding,
Mhm.
to be in a destination wedding where everyone's warm, having a good time, drinking. One day together, and then the rest
Mhm.
people can do whatever they want.
Whatever they like, yeah,
Yeah.
and go off and do their family vacation or couples vacation, whatever they're doing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be nice. I think it's gonna be nice. It'll be the first one I've ever gone to, so I will report back. I
Mhm.
think it's gonna be quite lovely, knowing the people as I do. Um, but I did not spend a lot of money on either one of my wedding. I'm very frugal when it comes to that. My first wedding was in my parents' backyard, and I had an English high tea after
Oh,
the
okay.
wedding. Yeah, and so my mother's friend's daughter, she and her husband were like caterers. So we had them do it, and they did the tea. And the interesting thing was, everyone my mom put out prior to the wedding is to get teacups because, of course, we didn't have like 45 or 50
Yeah.
teacups. So, and you wouldn't believe, I still have some of them today. Um, Everyone donated a
A
teacup.
teacup. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
nice.
And so we had 50 of them, and which I've carried around for the last 30 years.
Jesus.
And I just recently went through them and said, okay, I can't keep them all. Like, I just can't keep them all forever. So I kept a few of them, and the rest I've
Wow.
donated. But yeah, it was really lovely. And then we had dinner. The Women's Institute from Warminster put on our dinner at the Legion, the Warminster Legion,
Okay.
and then we had I don't I forget who did the music, but somebody we knew, I'm sure, and so it did not cost. I think my wedding, all told, was under probably under $3,000.
Okay, so now that's another question. What do you think the maximum amount someone should spend on a wedding is for
You,
if they want to get
you
married?
shouldn't ask me
Okay,
that.
well, you give your opinion, I'll give my opinion. And this includes, okay, let's say it church, and then it's like catering, like there's a
Yeah, and there's
venue. There's a
flowers, and
venue,
I
catering.
wasn't thinking
Yeah.
about a photographer, flowers. No, my
Yes.
my aunt did the pictures. She was actually a photographer. So if you have all that, father-in-law brought
Mhm.
his 1950s convertible for us to go for a ride in with the just married on the back, and got all kinds of pictures with that.
Well, for
Um
you, that's a brand new car, 1950.
you stop. What is with this 50s? Why does this keep happening?
Because in our last podcast episode, you brought it up. You were like in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. So I'm
Okay,
like
I'm
1950s.
70s. I'm at the
Like,
end of that, not the beginning. Anyway, yeah, so then I forgot about flowers, and I just don't remember. Oh, and you know what else I did? I was pregnant and nobody knew.
you were born, Heidi was born out of wedlock, right? Is that what it's
Yeah.
called? Wedlock?
Well, she wasn't born out of wedlock because we were married when she was born, but I was pregnant
Um,
at the wedding. And we
I
had
see.
already sent out the invitation, so it didn't happen and he had to marry me or anything. We had already and then I found out I was pregnant. So
Right.
I could
Just
not
kidding.
I couldn't drink at my own wedding, but nobody knew. So I got
That's not fun.
non-alcoholic wine, which cost nothing, and put that all on the tables because I was like, well, if I can't drink, nobody else
No one
is
else
going
is
to.
drinking.
So, and our bar was actually in the Legion. It was cash bar because I couldn't afford to
Yeah.
to pay for everyone's alcohol. So, and on the tables, normally you would put bottles of wine, but I couldn't drink, so I got all non-alcoholic wine.
Bottles of wine.
Yeah, they were like $4 a
Wow.
piece, and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Jesus, Grandma.
Oh,
See,
I'm cheap
no.
though. I am really
Oh.
cheap. Yeah, I think
Uh,
like $10,000 is too much money. And a
okay.
ring, I can't even grasp these rings. Honestly, go get one of those cubic zirconias. You can get one that's like massive and looks like the
Oh,
girls
yeah.
like today, and it's $100, and you get it in, well, couple hundred if you get it in gold, like or white gold or whatever. You can get the actual gold, and then the setting is like, why would you get a diamond that's worth 10 or $15,000? Why would you
I
do
don't
that?
know.
That is so crazy to me. If I had that, I'd have it in a bank deposit box. Like, I would never wear it. Never. Like, mine
I
is
don't
so
know.
little. It's so tiny, but you know what? If I lose that, okay, I'd be sad because I have worn it for a long time, but I wouldn't be devastated over the amount of money it cost. But you're
So,
yeah.
yeah, I feel like at some point in time, someone thought, well, the more money that the person spends on the ring, the more they love me, which I
Yeah,
don't
and
think
that's not
is, yeah,
true. I think
I know.
that's crazy. It's crazy. And your grandpa, like your grandpa couldn't wear his rings to his work because
Mhm.
where he worked, if he got caught, it would rip his fingers off. So now he's lost his, and I'm upset that he lost his ring, but I'm not financially going, "Oh my god, what you like wow,
Yeah.
$10,000 down the drain."
It's
Like,
the
and it's so
symbolism, I think.
easy.
Like, a ring's the symbol of, like, love and stuff,
Right.
but I don't think it's supposed to be, like, priceless, whatever, but then things
Be
get lost. It's
practical
not
though.
attached to
Yeah.
you, so it's just, like,
Yeah.
things
Like, I
happen.
would if I had that, I'd have it tied and then something tied to my watch or something. I'd be so afraid that that would fall off. I would just be
Mhm.
horrified. And I've walked around for years and years and not been concerned about it. So I don't know, peace of mind. I just think, and then
Mhm.
guys are, saving up. Like somebody told me, which I guess I've just never had that romantic of a guy, that you're supposed to save up for 3 months. That the engagement ring is supposed to cost 3 months of that guy's salary.
Michael Scott, remember? I thought he said 3 years salary for the actual ring, like, 3 years
Yeah.
salary?
No,
Oh
it's
my
actually
god.
supposed to be 3 months salary.
No,
And I just
no,
think that's insane. You could do
that's
so many
horrible.
things with 3 months salary.
$12,000. That's
Yeah, come on. And
$12,000.
then the girl is okay. So then buys that. So then the girl is going and getting a $15,000 wedding dress. What?
Which the dad usually pays for.
Yeah, the
Like, her
parents.
dad. Yeah, her
Hmm.
parents, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
let's
is
say parents, because come on, mothers work
co
now.
I'm just kidding. Well, just kidding.
Do they?
Some of them
Is
are
that what
quite
is
lazy.
that what
I'm
you call
just
it?
kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, do they actually work? What do they do? I'm just kidding. So
Yeah.
for my wedding, I think the max, well, it's hard because I do wanna
Well,
have a
it's hard if
destination
you want to
wedding
do a
and pirate ship.
destination.
I'm
That's
gonna
hard.
say maybe $17,000 is the cap.
Whew.
Yeah.
The thing that's changing nowadays too is that idea that the parents have to pay and this and that. Like I told my kids, I'll give you the X amount of dollars towards your wedding, but I am not. If you want a big splashy, that's not for me, and I'm not down for that. So I'm not paying for that. That's insane to me.
So, I'll break you down the cost
And
of what
everybody
I think.
divorces now anyway. So
Okay, well, that's not gonna happen
yeah.
to me because 'cause I'm in
Okay.
love, and that
Right.
50% of divorce doesn't apply to me.
Okay.
So I don't want just a photographer, I wanna have a photographer and a videographer because this is a pirate ship. I want a
Yeah.
videographer for the pirate ship.
Yeah.
Now
But
that
he could do
means
both, couldn't he? Couldn't, or
I
you want
guess he
both going on
could.
at the same time? Couldn't he just take stills from what he's got and save a little bit of money?
Well, I want the full drone in the air capturing the pirate ship, like, on the ocean. I want videography of me and my husband walking off the plank.
Is your
I
mother
want
prepared for this?
well, I don't even know if she's coming. I
Yeah. Have you even talked to her about that?
Yeah, like, she hasn't said yes, and, like,
She hasn't said no.
she hasn't said no, and we'll have to see if I can afford her ticket, so we don't know.
Oh god. Well,
But
anyway, you know
yeah.
what? I think, like, at the end of the day, it's a lovely thought. Um,
Mhm.
and if it comes true, if that's your dream, like my dream was to be married in a white wedding dress, and in the, at my parents' house. I was really thrilled with that we were able to do that. And so, I mean, that was my dream. Other people's, it depends on what kind of money you have too. Like, just don't break the bank. That's all I'm saying. Like, people break the bank over these, and they have no
Yeah.
house to live in, and they're having an $80,000 wedding, and they have no house to live in. That's stupid. It's stupid.
Um, what was I gonna say?
Like, $80,000 down payment on a house is a lot of money.
Yeah,
Like,
I wouldn't
you
spend
know what I mean?
the max would be, like, 17,000. I would say
I
17,000.
keep licking my lips. It's dry in here.
That's if he put I would say actually 20,000 because I'm hoping my husband and I, when we get married, I'm gonna say 33. We both have really good jobs. That'll be after tax, like, a tenth of my salary.
Wow, you
Yeah.
got this all down pat.
I think for 1 year, 1/10 of my sal no, not yeah, 1/10, yeah. I think I can afford it. That's like a
What do you
month and a
think?
half of work.
20,000? So each of you 10,000?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you gonna have a house by then?
Well, that's a great question. Depends how the market goes and how my investments pan out.
Right. I
So
think,
it depends. The
mhm,
future depends. But
mhm.
I'm planning because I have big dreams and my dreams are gonna come true, that I'm gonna be
Okay.
rich. So,
Alright.
like,
Okay. Well, as
money
long
is
as
no
you're rich,
object.
who cares then?
Yeah,
That's what I say.
exactly.
Like, then you see, like, on these, reality shows, the
Mhm.
ridiculous weddings, and they're, oh my god, stunning, stunning. But they're rich. They have so much money, but if you live in our tax bracket, you can't do that. Like, you can't
Oh,
do
yeah.
that to other people.
Mhm.
Like like if you're having a destination wedding, that's all well and good, but you have to make sure that your friends who are in the same tax bracket usually as you can afford to do these kinds of things. And I think that goes by the wayside a little bit. People get in their head, I have to do this. So why not get a cubic zirconia ring and save $14,900 and
Yeah.
put that towards your wedding? Who knows if that's a diamond or a cubic zirconia? I don't know who's looking at that.
Well, the people with the little microscope.
Well, yeah,
Like,
exactly. And are they going to be at your wedding or anywhere near you? Like, that's just weird. It's weird.
oh my god, next time we go out in public or whatever, we're gonna be walking around and I'm gonna be like, "Oh my god, grandma, I've never noticed that your diamond is fake." Like,
And mine's so tiny, it would be like a, well, I don't know. Maybe it is. It could be. I
um,
don't know. I don't
so
know.
okay, let's talk about funerals. We
Oh
talked about
God.
weddings.
Well,
Funeral.
I think, so I got caught up when my first husband died, and so I think I'm a bit of a cynic when it comes to funerals. They really, really put it to me. And his
Okay.
funeral cost at that time in 1994, it was $10,000, and that was a lot.
Oh
Like
my
today,
god.
that would probably be $20,000.
$10,000.
And I
Jesus.
did not have $10,000. But what they do is they play on your emotions and your guilt and do you want
Mhm.
the best for him? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you?
Nah, he was an asshole. Stick him in a pine box and light that sucker up.
Oh no, he had the best of everything. And
Mhm.
so you get into, and then, his father also required that he be in a cement casing.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, which his father actually paid for.
Oh,
Because
that's
I
good.
said at that point, I just went, I can't. Like, this is just getting beyond beyond, beyond. And I believe his father might have paid for the stone. I'm not sure. I can't remember how it went, but I know I paid 10,000 for the funeral itself. And I wound up
Damn.
eventually paying that. And I lived in a house where I needed a furnace. My car was broke down. I was now a single parent. He didn't have life insurance because he was a young man.
Yeah.
He didn't, you don't think you need it, which parents out there, everybody, get life insurance. It doesn't cost that much when you're young. And I'm telling you, a 20-year term will help your family members incredibly. Okay? You hearing me?
Well, I
Even
have life
enough.
insurance.
Yeah, even enough just to have your own, like have your funeral, have your
Mm,
burial looked after. $10,000 at your work or whatever is helpful because that's hard to come up with if
yeah.
you don't have it. And especially for a child, or a young husband, a young person, you feel obligated. Now, I don't feel obligated for myself when I get older. As I said, I don't even want one. I do not want to pay those people. I know I have to have a casket because I'm being buried. I don't even want one, but if I have to have one, I want the cheapest one that they make that I can have.
Okay, I just thought of something so fucking funny. I thought about like pranking people where it's like I just have your body in the trunk, in my trunk, with one of your hands out,
So I put on
and
the
I get
paper.
stuck.
I
I
put on the
just get
paper. I
stuck.
said, "Oh, and Damon, by the way, make sure you throw in that recording of
Yeah.
me banging on the coffin.
Oh,
Let me out! Let me out!" When I go down into the ground.
oh
Don't forget. Don't forget to put
my god,
that
that'd
in
be
before
fun.
they close the casket
Just
and
to
then
fuck
have a
with
press
people,
play. Yeah. And
right?
when they're
The first,
lowering me down,
yeah,
all you hear
Lord.
is me knocking on the wood.
I want to do the very first shovel of dirt, and then be
Yeah.
like, yeah! I'm
Hello?
like, did we hear something?
Hello?
What was that?
What's happening? Oh my god, that would be so funny. Oh, anyway. So I put that but I think nowadays people are more turning towards the celebration of life, which
Yes,
I
yeah,
think
which I
is a
like.
much nicer thing because a lot of people are being cremated and I just don't want to be. I don't see like I I get and I really probably should be because we're going to run out of room. You can't keep burying
That's
people.
my thought process.
Yeah,
Ah,
or we
yes.
should be being buried this way, not this way. You know what I
Right?
mean? Like straight down.
Oh my
Um,
god, yes.
or like my thing is they have oh my god, these things where you go in this pod. So your body goes in this pod and it's got a
Mhm.
tree seed, like a little sapling, and they put you in the ground and then your body grows a tree. And what they're talking about doing is these forests of of that.
I like that idea because
So,
then
yeah, you could put a
people can
plaque
cut
on
them
it.
down. I
No,
like that
and
idea.
I think eventually they'd have to cut them down at some point. They
Okay,
die
well, in
or
a
whatever.
thousand years, whatever.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
100 years or 2, like, long enough that nobody
yeah,
knows who you are, and so I like, to me, okay, well, it's there for as long as it lives,
yeah.
and you have a plaque in an area that someone can go to if you really wanna go to that forest, and then you're creating like a
Life.
sort of life. Yeah. Like you're
Yeah.
going to have birds, you're going to have small animals, you're going to have, if wherever you are, depending on your wildlife, So,
I like that
mhm,
idea because I love trees. I actually really love trees. Just
yeah. Yeah,
I
and
don't know.
it's
I'd
giving
rather be a
oxygen
tree.
and yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea and they've been talking about that and if it ever comes to be I want you guys to do that. Like I literally don't want to be in a coffin because I think it's stupid. You're going in the ground, you're going to rot. I don't get why you have to be in a box. I
Well,
just want to start the process immediately. I just want to be wrapped in a
oh,
shroud
no, Grandma, I'm
and rolled in.
claustrophobic. So I'm
Yeah.
claustrophobic, so I'm
Yeah.
not going in there.
Yeah, I don't want any of that. I just wanna be, like, rolled into a carpet
Uh,
and
yeah,
then
yeah, yeah.
kicked into the grave, and that's it. I think that's awesome, and but I do so now my quandary, though,
Mhm.
is. I've moved 2, 3 provinces away from my grave site. Like, my name is on that grave. I have my name and my year of birth, it just has no death on it. So my quandary is, and I feel like, "Oh, am I gonna," so I'm married again. He wants to be cremated. My husband is my first husband, who is not my ex-husband. He
Yeah.
died. So am I, then I feel like, well, if there is any type of after type thing, am I leaving him shouldn't I be going back there? Now, my grandmother, who was married 3 times,
Mhm.
she went back to her first husband. That's where she was buried, and that was my thinking, is I
Well,
should go
actually,
back.
my great grandmother,
Oh, you might have to drive me.
who just passed away, wanted
Yeah.
to have her ashes spread in a farm field that no longer belongs to the family. So what did we do? Drove out there, country roads, parked her car far away. This area is fenced up.
Oh my god,
My
and this
aunt
was her first husband's and
This
her
is her
place?
first
Yeah.
husband. So my aunt, we all were watching, jumped the fence. So there used to be bulls out there.
Oh
So we
god.
were joking, like, if you see a bull, run. So
Yeah,
she jumped
yeah.
the fence. She had the toughest time getting the package open and spreading the ashes. But yeah, and so it was done, and then she came and ran back, like over the
Mhm.
fence. So unless
Yeah.
the farmer had binoculars from his house, but anyways,
Wow. And they
what
say
I
that that's illegal, and
oh
it
yeah,
supposedly is, but
oh
whatever.
yeah,
Everybody
100%.
does it. So but for me, like,
I
do I
think it's
take okay,
sand.
so here's the weird thing. Your grandpa, just in my mind, if he were to go first and he's cremated, so now I have his ashes, and then I die, and you guys have to drive me to Aurelia to the graveyard with the ashes, and are we all going in together? Because
No,
I
no, no,
don't
no.
know that my first husband and grandpa would
They're
get
not gonna get along.
along very
They're
well.
not gonna get along. So, what I think should happen is, okay, instead of a funeral, we
Okay.
will pay me, Heidi, and Silver, we will pay for someone to Dexter you up. So half of your body will go
Oh,
to the first husband, and
I
the
was
other
thinking
half's
more.
gonna get cremated.
Oh, no. No.
Oh, no?
No
Oh.
cremation. Can't do the cremation thing.
So
I was
then why
thinking,
you're just going to your okay, you're going back to
yeah, but
like, what's the other
or
option?
should I get a gravesite here? Because there is oh my god, the most cute little graveyards out here. Like, they're adorable. And I really like them because they're small and they got trees, and I really like that idea.
Right.
And then I would just be buried there and have with your grandpa his ashes. Or do I go back because also we're both from that area. So, and do I just he can be buried there with me, and we can put his name on the stone as well.
I mean, you can.
Yeah,
I don't
I just don't I
yeah.
don't know what to do. Like, I was thinking I might, like, maybe if your mother and aunt and whatever would like some of his ashes, but I'm no, you're not gonna cut me in half. That ain't happening.
Well, I was hoping, but okay, that's fine. I
Yeah.
mean, if you love them both, then I would say get buried with both of them.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
in the afterlife, isn't everybody supposed to be all happy and not hating?
Well, we don't know if there's an afterlife, and
It
what
would
if we
be an
were we're just
awesome fight,
spirits?
I'll tell you that.
You're doing this just to see the rumble. You, even from the grave, you're a pot stirrer. I'm gonna bury you with a big
Oh my god,
soup
yeah, put a big
spoon.
wooden spoon in
Yeah,
there with me.
because you're a
Yeah,
pot stirrer.
here it
Yeah.
goes. Get ready. The
I'm
whole
gonna add that.
graveyard's just gonna be like this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, buzzing
Yeah.
when I get there. But the interest that you're missing the whole thing is how you getting me there. I'm gonna
I
be
don't
dead. And Heidi said to me, she's like, "You don't expect us to take you over there, do you?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know."
We can
Oh,
get you there. Well, that's where my idea comes in. I'll put you in the trunk, leave one of your hands out, so when I get pulled over, and I'll be like, "Well, it's my grandma. She's in the trunk," and they'd be like,
she's
"Open
dead.
up the trunk," and I'm like, "You're wrapped in a carpet." I'd be like, "Well, she died of natural causes. I'm just the messenger. I'm the transportation guy. I'm taking her to the gravesite."
Yeah,
And
what you guys should do is when I die,
yeah,
you guys shouldn't say a word. Get me in a car because otherwise it's all about this transportation of a body, right?
yeah.
That costs some money. That's not cheap.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
But
especially
if
when you
you
die in another
yeah,
country.
yeah,
Yeah,
or over here in another province, then you have to get from here to there. And instead, you guys could just load me in the car
right.
and drive.
Yeah,
And
okay.
then
Yeah,
say and
yeah.
then when you get there, go to someone's house and say that I died there.
What I'm going to do is we're gonna pack up the car, start driving, stop at a couple different life insurance people along the way, and then when we get to Aurelia, I'm gonna store you in a
You're
freezer.
gonna take my hand right inside the
Right, yeah,
paper.
with your fingerprint. And be like, "Yep, this is her." I'm like, "Do you have ink? I just wanna make sure you know it's her signing it." And, like, ink fingerprint your ink,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then a few days later, you turn up dead. I'd be like, "Whose name was that on her life insurance policy?
Or
Just curious."
just gonna say after like 60 or 65, whenever I take retirement, then all of a sudden I'm getting these checks every month. Maybe you guys wouldn't want to say that I was dead at all. Oh,
I like the
oh.
where this is going. I'm gonna be like, in my house, I built a basement suite for my grandmother, and she's living with me. So
She's still there.
you
So
can
you
send
just
her
got to get a
retirement
cold room.
checks. Yeah, a cold room. And then so when they show up, if anyone ever questions, be like, "Well, she is in the cold room in the basement,"
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's gonna be a walk-in freezer with you sitting there, and I'm gonna
Like,
have a cat,
oh
like
my god,
Doctor
did you
Evil almost.
yeah, did you see
It's
that,
so funny.
what was that show with, oh, frig, uh, the one about the hotel, Norman Bates.
Norman
Did you
Bates?
see that
No,
see
I've
that
never
oh,
watched
you
it.
gotta watch it. That's exactly what happened. He killed his mother, and then he put her in the basement, in the cold room, and she was perfect. She stayed perfect, and he'd bring her out and dress her up, and
Oh my god, I will
yeah.
switch out your wigs. If I get
Switch
your
out my
retirement
wigs, my
checks,
outfits.
I
Yeah, and
will
then if they
spend it
came
on
in, you just
wigs.
put me in the bed and go, "Oh, she's sleeping right now. Just look
Yeah,
in." And then
yeah, just look
oh, and
in.
then you get the, drag queens to come in and do my makeup. Oh my god, that would
Oh
look
my
so good.
god.
I
I
wouldn't
would
even mind.
I would
I
go
wouldn't even
take
mind.
makeup classes just so I could pull off this lie and get this money. Yeah,
Okay. I don't care. I'm dead. What do I
yeah,
care?
exactly.
I
So you don't
don't.
need to be worried about who you're gonna be buried with because 'cause you're gonna be my deep freeze. Like
Gonna be in your basement for at least 20 years. You don't
Oh
gotta
my
worry about it. We'll
god.
put grandpa's, ashes up on the shelf somewhere
No,
too.
this is so great because they have that incentive to if, your parents or whatever are gonna come live with you, you can build a
Mm,
granny
mm.
suite for them and get
Oh,
money
yeah.
for it.
Then you'll have an
Oh my
apartment.
god. No, I'm gonna have a
Oh.
house. A house. I'll get a
Yeah, but I
house,
mean
fully
and you can
furnished.
put an apartment in
Yeah.
downstairs,
Oh, yeah, that's what
and
I
you
mean,
can
yeah.
rent it out, and then just for the most part, you can say,
Oh my god.
yeah,
Whatever
so
you
you'll be
do,
getting the rent, you'll be getting my checks, you'll be getting like, it'll just be like a windfall.
for the people in the basement renting out the basement, I'll be like, "Whatever you do, don't look in the right corner of the deep
The
freeze."
deep freeze, yeah.
It's yeah, we had a
It's a
pet
deer.
and yeah, we just wanna our pet is in there, so we really don't want anyone to look at it. Just, your section's the left section, we own the right, so
Yeah, the
just
left
keep to the
side.
left.
Imagine, and then you move this stuff over, and they're like, "Oh my god."
You fall over.
Well, so
Oof.
that's what I say. I feel like once you're dead, no, who cares what
Yeah,
happens? But I do care about the. I don't know why that is. I have a real aversion to the cremation, which in my mind, I understand that probably everyone should be doing that now,
mhm,
rather than taking up room. You know
yeah.
what I mean? But I also just have this huge aversion to it.
So if they do the tree thing, I'd be okay with me doing the tree thing. If not, I'd want to be cremated just because if someone of if a loved one of mine wants to have some part of me, great. If not, you can spread me somewhere, get rid of me. I don't want you to have to carry me around with you everywhere you go, but whatever. Mm.
Yeah, I'm not down for that. Like my mother was cremated and we actually put her there's a place in the cemetery where you can put the and that's where my dad will eventually go. He's being cremated too. And they go into this wall. There's a wall in the
Oh, yeah,
cemetery
yeah, yeah.
with little things. So that's somewhere and at least you can go there and sit and whatever.
I've also
Yeah.
seen graveyards with plaques instead of headstones, which I kind of like to, I think it's easier for people to mow the grass, which I'm like makes their life easier. But
Yeah, and people maybe don't know this. This is a good information. I didn't realize this, but my aunt called my dad actually, and he was at my house, and her husband had passed away, and that was
Mhm.
my grandmother's son, and she was asking, could we bury his ashes in my grandmother's plot? And I said, well, is that allowed? And apparently, in a plot where there's two people, you can
Mhm.
bury up to 8 urns
Oh wow.
in that same plot. So she and then I said to her, "Well, where are you going? Do you want to go there too?" And she said, "Yes." So she had a plaque made up, and now
Oh,
she
that's
and
nice.
her husband will go with his mother and father into that grave. So even in my grave site where my husband is, I could take up to 8 urns of family members, which really
Who are you
I'm
taking with you?
well,
Who's
I'm just
invited to the
saying.
party?
I'd love to take you all, but
Who's making the
I don't
list?
I don't know if you'll be ready for it. But
What?
I do know people who have lost a loved one and just could not afford. Like it's
Mm.
a really big expense for to get plots. Plots now are about I think they were at that time $5,000. So I'd imagine they're around 8 or $10,000 for so if you have someone who's already buried in a grave site and you're willing to be cremated or have the person cremated, you could possibly use their site, like their parents' site or whatever. It's something to look into if you have someone um,
S- So why isn't the government paying for not the funeral, but for the cremation or like
oh,
I'm
you
not gonna
got
say the
okay. You
headstone.
know what you got
There's
from
a free
Canada
fly.
Pension. You get
Mhm.
a CPP benefit. Guess how much it is?
Like
Well,
$48.
in 1994, it was $800, and that was
Oh
supposed to
wow.
cover the burial and the funeral.
Okay, so that's pretty good.
800? It
I
cost
guess not.
$10,000.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
you only had to pay $9,130. It's better than
So,
nothing.
no, it doesn't cover very much, but
Yeah.
also if like, that's why I was saying if somebody did I do know of someone who had a spouse die, and they were very, very, very broke, and there was nowhere like, at least I was lucky enough his father was willing to, lend some money at the time, and we were able to cover it, but if you can't cover it, at least if you have someone like a parent or someone already in the graveyard,
Yeah.
you could look into having your person cremated and then putting them with with their parent or grandparent or something. It's just an option out there if nobody knows about that because I had no idea that you could do that, and it doesn't cost much.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, we'll see.
That's
I
kind of
don't know.
nice too, like to keep families together.
I guess. Yeah, 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 yeah. That's nice. That's
And
nice.
the other question is like for you are now in Toronto. You're from further north and you lived even further north, you may move in your lifetime. That's kind of my thing now is like I'm way out here, um, and nobody really is there anymore. Who's coming to visit me?
Yeah,
It's,
at the
you
grave
know what I
site. Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like, wouldn't I would rather be in one of these nice little small graveyards out here that are I mean, they're just adorable. I'd be so happy. You would come there and you'd be like, "Oh my god, grandma's in seventh heaven." It's just a oh, and some of them are on the seaside and looking out at the ocean. Yeah.
Damn. Okay. So my max, what I would pay for a funeral, $800, because that's what the government gives you.
That's what
Just
I
kidding.
say too. That's what I'm saying. Roll me up in a carpet,
Yeah.
throw me in the ground in the farmer's field, and have a celebration of life at somewhere where like at someone's house or something in the summer outside, barbecue, beers, everybody happy, and don't forget to put the recording in with me no matter what happens, so that I'm
Okay.
like yelling and saying,
S-
hey.
So, question: when someone dies, let's just say you and your husband, you wake up one morning, he's not breathing in bed. What's the next step? Do you call the police? Or are you like, well, he's 90 something, like it was his time to go. He's passed on. Do you have to call the police first, or do you just call the funeral home directly?
Well, when I found my first husband, I called the police because, like, I called 911 because I didn't know what had happened.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I think when it's expected, like my mother, I'm trying to we did not call the police for my mother. I think we called the funeral home directly.
Mm.
And and at that time he was able I think he also was able, because you got to have somebody who can say this person is gone,
Like a
right?
death certificate, right?
Yes.
Or like,
So
yeah.
yeah, so she had cancer, and she was absolutely stage 4. She was not going to live. And so when she was close, I think we made arrangements to call, and he came with the hearse, and they carried her out of the house into the hearse, and he made the call and said, like, she's gone at such and such a time or whatever. So yeah, I think you make arrangements at that point. Like if it's a surprise death, like say you're at home, grandpa and I or something, and he walks in and I'm just like dead. I think he would probably call 911. But if it's not a surprise and it's coming, I think they make those, like my mother had her arrangements all done. She went from there and like had her funeral arrangements done.
So, okay. So now my thought process is, what if you wanted to commit a crime? What if you took a life insurance policy, let's say out on grandpa, or like if I did it and grandpa was living with me, and I killed him or something. Like
Hmm.
I gave him insulin or something, too much insulin, he passed or whatever. And then I just call the funeral home and be like, "Oh, my grandfather, he hasn't been doing well. Unfortunately, he passed away last
Yeah,
night." You
I don't
know?
know about that. Um, I don't know. Like I said, if I were to walk in on him or vice versa, I think I would call 911 because it's not expected. And so then the doctors, what happens, like I do know on the other end, because I work doing that, is that they make that determination whether or not they would do an autopsy. So for someone
Um,
like your grandpa he does have like severe heart disease.
but I'm trying to
And
commit a crime, right? Like life
right, and
insurance
so
fraud.
you might get away with that. The problem
Here we go.
is
Just
he can't get life insurance, number 1, because of his
fuck.
pre-existing conditions, so there's no point in even trying there. And number 2, um, well, that's it. Like, you wouldn't get it, I don't think.
Okay.
So
Follow-up question.
and
How's your
number 2 was you have to be careful with that. Like in watching all these crime documentaries, how many times people get caught doing that because they take it out and then they kill the person like 2 weeks later. If you are
Yeah.
going to do that, you'd have to be very, very smart and get that and then wait 3 years.
Okay, I would wait, I'm gonna say 12 years. So my follow-up question was, how's your health, grandma?
Mine's
How
mine's
how are you
mine's
doing?
mine's terrible too. I'm just going to tell you that. That's awful. I can't
You
get
know,
life insurance.
you can't get life insurance either?
I don't think I could now. I do have life insurance. I've had it for years and years and
Oh,
years.
I see, okay.
So I do have a policy. But no, I could not get it now because of my.
Damn.
I could. Anybody can. I'm. That's a lie. Anybody can get life insurance. It's what you pay. Like
Yeah.
so, your grandpa could get life insurance, but who's paying $1,000 a month for it? I'm not. So,
That's true. And oh,
yeah.
what I don't understand is I've heard you can take life insurance policies out on people. Is that true? Like,
No. No,
no.
what okay, so life insurance is really a tricky thing. And so when you say you go to get life insurance on me, say you went, I'm gonna just take it out on grandma. Like
Yeah,
obviously she's gonna die, right? She was born in
yeah.
1950. At some point, she's got to die.
It's, well, she's lived 70 something
Yeah,
years. She's
yeah.
gonna croak soon.
Exactly. So I'm going to run on down to the office and get some life insurance on her. Well, that
Yeah.
doesn't work. You have to have the person you're taking it out on has to they have to have their consent. And
Do
that
they have
pretty
to be
much
with you?
yes, that
Yeah,
pretty
okay.
much means they have to show up at the office and they have to sign documents and they have to say it's okay for you to that's really weird when someone wants to pay premiums on someone that's not their child, right?
Yeah.
So, or their wife or husband. So it would be very strange and it would be red flags. So then if I died, say we did all that together and I died 2 months later, you could be absolutely guaranteed there'd be an autopsy. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
shit.
they got it
Shit.
where I know, like, you think about these things and they
Damn
have
it.
it, yeah, where you just can't get by. Now, there are some people that are so stupid, like, this one lady, she got away with it. She literally got away with it, and then I forget what she called the life insurance. Instead of just letting it happen, she called them up and was like freaking out and telling them, you need to get this done, you need to get this done. Well, the life insurance called the police officer and said, hey, this is weird, like, he only died 2 days ago and she should be worried about a funeral, right? Because people act stupid, and
Yeah.
so she should be crying and not all upset, and she's calling me and screaming at me, can you look into this? Next thing you know, autopsy, and lady is in jail.
No, you gotta play the grieving window. You gotta play the
Dummy.
act. You gotta
Yeah,
play,
yeah,
you
or
know.
they go to the funeral and they're hitting, so the guy kills the wife, right? Is going to get away with it. She's had life insurance for 5 years, whatever. He's not calling them, but then he goes to the funeral and starts flirting with her friends.
There's so many women in the world. Just wait. Take the money, go to Guatemala.
Yeah,
It's
like
like,
spend a year just in hiding and then start hitting on her friends. Don't do it at the funeral.
don't even hit on her friends, hit on other women. Like,
Mhm,
oh, you
mhm.
don't.
Yeah, so then they call the police and they go, this is weird. Um, he's hitting on us. Oh, let's do an autopsy. He's in jail.
Wow, that's a shame. People should really look into what it
Well, when
takes.
they say when people commit a crime, they only plan up to the crime. They never plan after. And that is so important. Like if you're going to commit the perfect crime, you need to have it all worked out up to and then everything that's going to happen after.
Damn.
And if you can't fake cry or you can't bring a tear to your eye, you're in trouble. You're in big
Oh
trouble.
no, I got banked memories. I could pull it off, I think.
Yeah, I remember there was
Yeah.
one you have
So,
bad memory.
so, uh, oh, shut up. That was, oh my god, that was funny. Okay, we're not telling that story. Um, um, so-
Next time. We'll tell
next
it next
time.
time.
Oh my god. So I can commit a crime for someone who's still alive. However, if someone's already dead, I could commit life insurance fraud. I feel like I'm okay with that. That person's dead. They got nothing to lose. I have everything to gain.
Yeah, I agree, but I just don't see how you would do it. The way they have the system set up, it's
Yeah.
very difficult to commit, and especially again, if it's not a um they have it where yes, okay, husband, wife, children. That's normal. But if you have someone outside of that family trying to have life insurance on someone, it's very abnormal, and they are like it's just like red flags all over the place. Like they would be getting a hold of that person. They'd be saying, "Is this okay? Why is this happening? Who is this person to you?" and it would be a whole thing. So it's really hard. It's really
Oh,
hard to do.
that's my mechanic. He comes and cleans
Yeah,
my pipes.
yeah, exactly, and that's why, like, I think if you were capable, everybody would have life insurance on everyone, right? There's, like, all
Well,
kinds of people, and
that's
then
what I'm
it's the
thinking.
money. Like, we even discussed, I know this sounds weird, but, um, when my father he had a term life, and my brothers and he discussed, should we continue this term life? The amount of money it would have cost, like, because once it ran out, then he could have got it, but it was going to triple or quadruple in the monthly fee. And
Mm,
then you have to look at, okay, that was back, I don't know, 20 years ago or 15 years ago. So you multiply the payments by the years, and you go, holy man, for a very small amount of money, that, like, you're paying almost the same amount, and that's how they make it. That's how they get you when you're old,
yeah,
right? That's why nobody has millions of dollars unless you're really rich and can pay a premium of $5,000 a month, right?
yeah. Sorry, I have a
Yeah.
fruit fly in my place. I just ate strawberries today. I just pulled them
I'm
out of the
watching
fridge.
you watch it.
I just ate the strawberries before the recording started. How do I have a fruit fly in my house? How? It's
I
too
don't know.
cold. It's winter. I literally just ate strawberries. Okay.
Oh, you know
Anyways, I
what?
think.
Maybe somebody in the building, though. It could be someone else, and they're
Oh.
getting over there. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's not a pleasant thought.
Yeah.
Should I pour
No.
like bleach down my drains? I heard they come from the drains.
Oh, they might. I don't know. I would get some Raid, and if you're having trouble, give it a spray before you leave or something. Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
we're
I
at
think
an
this.
hour
Yeah,
again. We
we're
we
gonna.
spend a lot of time talking.
We're just two hens clucking away.
We're two hens clocking away.
Clucking away. Okay. Well, thanks
By the
everyone
way,
for
everyone
tuning
loves
in.
my hair.
Great.
Thank
I'm
you.
just kidding.
Bye.
Yeah, no one's kidding. I read Grandma's hair looks amazing, and it's gonna look amazing on her when she
Oh, thank
dies.
you.
So,
Uh,
thanks everyone for tuning
Okay.
in, and we hope you have a great day. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Damon B, and I hope you enjoyed spilling the tea with me.